The reports that we got last week, and UNRWA brought them to us, were deeply, deeply troubling.
The UN Secretary General has appealed to the US and 10 other countries who have suspended funding to UNRWA, following revelations regarding allegations that at least a dozen of its 13,000 employees may have had involvement in the October 7th attacks, and more than 100 more may have links to militant groups. Under what circumstances and how soon could the US consider resuming its support, considering this decision comes as Gaza is tipping into famine, and given your own personal and persistent appeals that humanitarian aid to Gazan civilians increase and not decrease? Mr. Secretary General, welcome to Washington. Welcome back. The United States Congress, as you well know, remains at a political impasse regarding continued aid to Ukraine, and the European Union is likewise struggling politically to restart the flow of resources into Kyiv. You yourself have said that Ukraine's spring offensive didn't lead to the results that many had hoped for. So how long does Ukraine's military have before the marginal successes that it did notch, when it enjoyed steadier resources from the West, risk being reversed by Russia, which seems to be enjoying growing support from the likes of North Korea and Iran? And briefly, Mr. Secretary General, I understand you'll be meeting with American lawmakers during this trip to Washington, much as President Zelensky did when he was here late last year. Is there a message you believe you can deliver to those lawmakers to make a timely difference in their decision-making? Thank you.
Olivia, thank you very much, and thank you for also representing all your colleagues and making sure that you asked all their questions as well. Appreciate it. Look, first, I think it's very important to note that this is an incredibly volatile time in the Middle East. I would argue that we have not seen a situation as dangerous as the one we're facing now across the region since at least 1973, and arguably even before that. And that is the environment in which we're operating, and of course that was triggered by the horrific attacks of October 7th by Hamas against innocent men, women, and children. We've made very, very clear from day one that we're going to defend our people, we're going to defend our personnel, we're going to defend our interests. And that's exactly what we've done. We've taken action, significant action, to deter groups, to degrade their capabilities in Iraq, in Syria, in Yemen. At the same time, the President's been very clear that we want to prevent broader escalation. We want to prevent this conflict from spreading. So we are intent on doing both. That is, standing up for our people when they're attacked, while at the same time working every single day to prevent the conflict from growing and spreading. And that's exactly what we'll continue to do. It's fundamentally what's in the interest of the United States, what's in the interests of the region, and I think what's in the interest of the world. But the President said this, I think, virtually from day one, to anyone who would try to use the crisis in the Middle East, the conflict in the Middle East, to sow further instability and to use it as an excuse to attack our personnel. We will respond. We will respond strongly. We will respond at a time and place of our choosing. And obviously, I'm not going to telegraph what we might do in this instance or get ahead of the President, but I can, again, tell you that as the President said yesterday, we will respond. And that response could be multi-leveled, come in stages, and be sustained over time. With regard to UNRWA, the reports that we got last week, and UNRWA brought them to us, were deeply, deeply troubling. It is imperative that UNRWA immediately, as it said it would, investigate, that it hold people accountable as necessary, and that it review its procedures. I had a very good conversation with Secretary General of the United Nations, Guterres, last week when we were first made aware of these allegations, and we're going to be looking very hard at the steps that UNRWA takes, again, to make sure that this is fully and thoroughly investigated, that there's clear accountability, and that as necessary, measures are put in place so that this doesn't happen. Again, assuming the allegations are fully borne out. Certainly, we haven't had the ability to investigate them ourselves, but they are highly, highly credible. At the same time, and as you indicated, UNRWA has played and continues to play an absolutely indispensable role in trying to make sure that men, women, and children who so desperately need assistance in Gaza actually get it. And no one else can play the role that UNRWA has been playing, certainly not in the near term. No one has the reach, the capacity, the structure to do what UNRWA has been doing. And from our perspective, it's important, more than important, imperative that that role continues. So that only underscores the importance of UNRWA tackling this as quickly, as effectively, and as thoroughly as possible, and that's what we're looking for.